What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are blessed when you catch this video. My name's Idalia Anai. Friends and family call me Annie. And today I wanted to bring a video reply on someone saying that her parents had made a mistake at raising her in the States. And I'm thinking she feels like they should have stayed in Mexico, right? And I know that there's a whole lot going on right now, especially right now. I think more than ever. But I think through all this craziness, nonsense, we should still feel that gratitude towards our parents because of the fact that we know that they paid a really high price, right? Because during their time, this was the best bet. This was the best thing to do during their time, right? So we can't hold anything against them, and I understand that feel because I felt like that before, especially when I was around people that had always, like, around people that were around their people, like people that they had grown up with, gone to school with. Like, this really happened to me when I decided to go back to college here in Mexico, and classmates that I would see that they had like full, just lifelong connections with people, you dig? Like, that type of just relationships around them. And to me, it was like I was just getting to know people like that, like outside of maybe even church, because that's probably, I mean, neighbors and co-workers and like probably church people is all I knew at the beginning. Like people around me, right, that I would just run into because, I mean, you have to be, I mean, out there working or in society, period. But I wasn't out there like making real connections like that. Like I wasn't out there making friendships like that. It was really hard for me because, I mean, yeah, everything is different. And this is when I would wish, man, I wish I would have been raised here. I wish I would have been brought up here. I wish I knew people like that here, right? I wish things would be easier for me and I wouldn't have to have known another life. And now I got to get used to this, right? Because, you know, for me, it was hard. I didn't get out here making, like, at first, not all that much money. Like, I did struggle for a little while, you know. I started making money, like, after, like, a year and a half of getting here. But then because I went back, right, to raising kids and, you know, it's like we had to go back to one income and we really like went through it. Me going back to school and it was like, it was hard times. It was. And we always got it done. Like we never went without, thank God, y'all, for real. And this is probably when I really learned to live by faith, man, because, man, for real, like, and if anything, those hard times made me the Mexicana that I am today, in the sense that I know how to, man, with little I can do a lot. With nothing I can do something, right? And I became even better with my money, man. Like, I'm a pro, y'all. And I don't say this lightly, at low cost living and thriving under a budget, because I had to do that to get through school and to raise my kids and being home with them. And to me, it's like at the time, yeah, I would like side hustle, but my priority was raising my children, right, and going to school. So we were on one income and my side hustles. And I would like temporarily work, but it was like my kids, to me, were always a priority. And I didn't have that growing up. So to me, that's been the luxury of being here, right? But going back to, yeah, I know what it's like to struggle and want the basic things that you would probably have out in the US. I mean, probably with more than here, right? Because even the smallest things, I mean, me at least, you know, I mean, I didn't get out here living to no fancy nothing, baby. I got out here to, you know, I mean, I've lived in homes out here, for real, like, even my childhood home, y'all, that now it's like under, you know, construction and everything. I lived there when they didn't even have like real floors like that. Like when it had like just like the very basic like concrete, and I didn't have a kitchen sink and much less a boiler. I had to like heat up water, right? And I always say this because I have so much hair and it was always like a struggle for me. So just all these things that I didn't have out here, I got out here to really just struggle like that, like me and my baby boy, you know. So when I get married, things start getting better, but it's still a struggle because, again, you know, you're staying home with your kids. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you know what I mean, right? So these are just some of the struggles that I went through, right? And the reason why I would be like, man, I wish I would have just grew up in the struggle and then been able to survive the struggle, right, more easily. Because everybody that I seen around me, nobody was complaining about, you know, having to heat up water to shower. Like, nobody was complaining. And I think that's one of the things that I actually learned, like, from el mexicano aquí, de que la gente realmente es feliz con lo que tiene. And I'm not saying this because everybody's living like that. No, not at all. But you know, in the hood, in the, you know, where I got to, yeah, I mean, we didn't get out there to know, like we didn't have nothing fancy back here in Mexico, right? Like my parents built that home and they just left it, como se puede decir, como en obra negra, creo que se llama, como que like halfway done. And then the divorce came through and they just left it, y'all. They didn't even bother with it. I guess all this to say that many times, yes, we can all wish that it would have been easier or it would have been better. But I think that God allowed everything to play out the way that it did for a reason. Because even when I would feel like that, I would still go back and be like, nah, you know what? I don't think, I mean, I would have been a whole different person if I wouldn't have been brought out there, if I wouldn't have been exposed to just different cultures and another language and another way of living, another way of thinking, right? Because maybe again, going back to this is just me because I got to experience the US on a whole different setting. But for me, it was like, I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful for everything that, you know, my mom she was able, and my dad, both of them, right? That they were able to provide for us. And my sister's, you know, she's very successful out there. So my son as well, they all are, you know, so I don't think it was a mistake, at least not for my family. But I do understand where you're coming from, because especially now that everybody's returning, like a massive, y'all, like I think it's like a massive group of, like, for real, like willingly and unwillingly. But I would say now, I mean, at least I see more of people wanting to move down, you know, and they're having to face this culture shock, you could say, and this kind of just having to adjust to things a little differently. But you know, if you ask me, I think people are doing, you know, wonderful. I think people are really settling in, and you can just feel a different vibe to just being out here in Mexico, for sure, y'all, for sure. Like, it's, and I'm telling you, because I've been here all these years, y'all, all these years, 20 years this year. And I can say that the vibes most definitely different. Even the opportunities that we have now, government, of course, right? We can clearly see that, and just so many other ways that, you know, I try to share on here how we're advancing and how things are getting better for us. But it's like a one day at a time thing. But you know, I guess let's just be grateful that we got to experience now the best of both worlds, because back then it was probably just like people just felt like they could have that good life experience out in the US. But now that we're seeing that it's not like that we're out here doing the same, you know, that we're living good, you know, peaceful, clean, just fulfilling lives, you know. We're raising our kids, we're retiring, we're, you know, building community. There's so much that we're doing out here. So it's that hope, you know, that we lean on. And I hope that everybody that watches, you know, content on this really just gets that glimpse of it's another life out here, you know. But look, if you're thinking about moving down and eventually you're gonna be out here, you know, I say this, I've said this before and I'll say it often, that, you know, get ready for that blending in of the two cultures, because I know that you feel like maybe I should have been brought out there, but you know, deep down, or just realistically, being American is part of our identity, because that's who raised us, that's who, you know, shaped us into who we are now. I mean, inevitably, right? So it's one of those things that we have to learn how to just make peace with, and there's nothing wrong with embracing your Mexican side more. I can understand that, but I think for the most part everybody kind of just feels conflicted within, right? But we don't have to. I think it's about embracing those two cultures, not allowing them to just one override the other, right? I feel like that sometimes. I even told my son this one time. I was like, nah, I think people are, you know, when we say Mexican American, you know, I think they're always gonna choose, at the end of the day, choose one side, right? You're either gonna vote Mexican or vote American. And I kind of just felt like that, especially around the elections. Honestly, it's way more complex than that. You know, it's a lot bigger than that, right? We're truly binacionales. We really are. Entonces no podemos negar eso. Hay que darle gracias a Dios mejor en que nos ha permitido formarnos en ambas naciones y que hasta ahorita nos ha bendecido en ambos países, porque de algo no nos podemos quejar, que Dios nos ha bendecido en las dos tierras. Y eso, ese es el enfoque en verdad, no de que hubiera crecido aquí, hubiera crecido allá, no, es mejor embracing that y darle gracias a Dios por darnos las experiencias que nos dio, ¿verdad? Y ahora tener más herramientas para poder sobresalir, pues para nosotros y para nuestra familia. Entonces hay que tomarlo todo como una bendición, ¿verdad? Pero bueno, friends, that's just my 2 cents on it. That's my thoughts and my experience and how it's been for me when I felt like that. And how I've just channeled it into something just positive, right? And really just taking it all in and being grateful, right? Instead of resentful. Just thank God that I got to be out there and He gave me, man, honestly, there's people still back home that I'm grateful that I met. I couldn't even imagine my life not having met them, right? Just beautiful, just people that you grow up with, and that, you know, even through the distance and the years, you know, you can see that they're well, and I'm grateful for that, you know. People that I did time with now that are doing big things, getting degrees and everything, and man, some of us like in our 40s, you know, probably even close to 50s, and we're still out here getting it. So, I mean, yeah, of course, you know, I want to stay connected to the people that I once, you know, shared life with, that I once cared. I mean, I still care for them, but you know what I mean? Like, really just be there for them for us, you know. So it's all been a blessing, at least, you know, to me. I hope you guys are blessed, and that you guys enjoyed this video. I'll come back with some more replies, and hopefully, you know, they'll be a blessing to others in some type of way. And, you know, just relate to you guys. I really, I know how you feel. Like, man, this is why I started doing this, because there's so many comments. I'm like, man, I feel like that, or like, dang, that's crazy. You know, I hope this person knows this and that, right? And that's just a way of me just encouraging you guys. But anyways, guys, I guess I'll be back shortly, and you guys stay blessed. Bye.